hello. Thank you for joining us. It might be evening or it could be afternoon for you, depending on where you're signing in from. So we really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. My name is Malika Abdul-Malik, and I'm one of the dedicated public library account managers here at Mango. Today, I'm going to be joined by my colleagues, Cruz and Sabrina Richardson, to discuss some of the specialty courses we have here within the world languages, and as well as the Indigenous and Endangered language courses that we offer as well. And additionally, some ways to promote and how to essentially engage your patrons to these courses from here. All right, so first we are going to get started with Cruz. She's going to kick us off by highlighting some of our unique specialty courses that we have to offer here within our world languages. So go ahead, Cruz, over to you.
Thank you, Malika. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Cruz, and I'm very excited to be sharing with you some of the unique specialty courses that we have available through Mango. However, before we get started, I would like to highlight what Mango has to offer. So we currently have over 70 world languages and more than 20 English as a second language courses. And they're all narrated by someone of that native mother tongue. And we also have over 30 specialty courses, which is what we're going to be focusing on in today's webinar presentation. For some of our more developed courses, we have additional learning content through our specialty courses that cover a range of culturally significant topics in some of our top courses. So these are smaller units that are built around a specific topic, such as Spanish for librarians, French, wine and cheese, soccer celebration, and as you can see, we have a lot more. So these allow us to go even more in depth with your language learning experience. So all of our specialty courses are available in both the web and also in the mobile apps, and they can be found under the main units of content in our top courses. So one of my favorite specialty courses is the Spanish for Librarians course. So if your library is, has a large population of Spanish-speaking patrons and you would like to be able to communicate with them, Mango offers a Spanish specialty course designed just for librarians. So the goal of this specialty course is to help librarians communicate with their Spanish-speaking patrons by learning basic terminology and forming basic questions and conversations that will help you carry out conversations in Spanish with your patrons. This specialty course has a total of 5 chapters, and they each focus on a specific conversation and grammar goals. And at the end of each chapter, you're going to see the conversation and grammar goals that are going to be covered in each chapter. So for example, in chapter 1, you will learn how to help your patrons obtain a new library card. So some of the conversation goals that you're going to see, are things like how to express gratitude, form questions, greet people, offer and request help. And then we also list the grammar goals, gender agreement, personal pronouns, reflex verbs, and use the formal and informal second person pronouns. So you will be introduced to conversations like this one. And by the end of the course, you can hope to achieve and understand conversations like this with your Spanish-speaking patrons. So, things like, hola, ¿cómo te puedo ayudar? Quiero obtener una credencial de la biblioteca. ¿Qué tengo que hacer? Yo te puedo ayudar. Tiene una identificación con foto y su domicilio actual. So, as you can see, this is an example of a very natural conversation that a librarian and a patron could have when someone is trying to request a library card. So things like, how can I help you? Do you have a photo ID with your current address? Very natural, very important terminology and words to know when you're working at the library. So in some other conversations you're going to see in the other chapters are going to be focused on, accessing resources, help at the reference desk, what activities are happening at the library, and job search. So by the end of the course, you'll be able to inform and ask about library materials, inform and ask about obtaining an access to online resources, talk basic technology, ask about the location of something, ask or tell about library activities. So, which is all very useful information and vocabulary to know in order to help your Spanish-speaking patrons. So the next specialty course I would like to share with you is our soccer celebration. So soccer is becoming a very popular sport in the US. And with recent soccer events during the Tokyo Olympics, and then we also have the FIFA World Cup coming up in 2022, soccer can be a great way for your library to promote Mango languages by highlighting our soccer celebration specialty courses. So these specialty course is available in both Spanish and then also in Brazilian Portuguese. And they can be a fun way, not to only promote Mango, but to also encourage your patrons to learn Spanish or Brazilian Portuguese through soccer, especially among your younger library patrons who, might love soccer and they're soccer aficionados. So the Portuguese Brazilian soccer celebration has 3 chapters, and your patrons are going to learn things like, how to arrange to watch a game together, learn a little bit of slang, cheer for their favorite team, predict the outcome of a game, and even yell at an official for making a bad call. Next specialty course that I would like to share with you is our French wines and cheeses. So during the pandemic, online cooking classes became a very popular activity. And many libraries are offering special cooking programs through either Zoom or in person. And one of the fun specialty courses we have available at Mango is our French wines and cheese specialty course. So if your library is planning on, having a French cooking program or a wine and cheese program, our specialty course pairs very well with that. And it's a great way to introduce your patrons to Mango languages, and then to also encourage them to learn French in a very unique way. So like I mentioned before, this is a very fun and short course with only 1 chapter, but at the end of the course, your patrons will be able to, make a wine or cheese suggestion, order, wines and cheeses, or use automatic expressions on wines and cheeses. And last but not least, we have our Pirate specialty course. September 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day, and we have a new logo this year to help promote the free pirate course. So we also have other social media assets and other promotional materials to support Pirate Day in the Mango market. So this is a very fun, very creative way to introduce your patrons to Mango language learning resources, and to encourage them to start learning a new language by first learning to speak like a pirate. So this course is also a very fun activity for families, because it encourages family participation as they learn a new language together, and kids love this course, since they get to talk like a pirate. So if you haven't had the chance to try this course yet, we encourage you to give it a try. Some of the pirate words that you're going to learn in this course are things like, call someone names, express surprise, give selling commands, greet a friend and a superior, and pay a compliment. So now that I talked a little bit about some of the specialty courses we have available, Malika is going to highlight some of the Indigenous languages courses that we offer. Over to you, Malika.
Awesome. Thanks, Cruz. That was great sharing all that fun information about some of the unique specialty courses that we have here. So as Cruz just mentioned, I am now going to journey through some of our Indigenous language courses that we have here at Mango. Now, all of the Indigenous and Endangered language courses can be accessed for free from the Mango Languages website. So mangolanguages.com. You do have to create a profile with a username and password, but it does not cost anything to sign up. And the reason this is a testament of how important these languages are, the Indigenous and Endangered. And we want to make sure that they can be explored and shared with the world at no cost. Whether you have access to public library or not, we want to make sure that these languages are available for everyone to view. So up on the screen, we have a list of all of the Indigenous languages that we currently have here at Mango. However, the ones in orange are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on today. So let's go ahead and take a look at Hawaiian. So it is 4 units with multiple chapters within each. It is a Polynesian language. It can be accessed easily from the Mango Languages homepage or by logging into the resource and searching for that itself. It is the official language of the Hawaiian Islands, along with English. All right, so as we move to the next slide, we see some conversational goals that we can hope to achieve. Some things while working in the Hawaiian language, like introduce yourself, meet new people, ask about vacations and seasonal opportunities, discuss the seasons, and express general time relationships. So as history tends to go, when a land or a native state is being colonized, unfortunately, usually one of the first things to go is the language of those who are being colonized, the natives. And unfortunately, this did happen to the islands of Hawaii. And for various reasons, the Hawaiian language lost a lot of native speakers between the 1830s and the 1950s, with basically English replacing it essentially on almost all of the islands. However, there was a large push by the government after the 1950s to go and reemerge the language into public schooling. So Hawaiian language immersion preschools started popping up in 1984 called Punana Liao, and there were several other immersion schools to follow after that. Now, those first students who joined those immersion schools are adults, and many of them are fluent Hawaiian speakers. So by a new generation speaking the language, they will hopefully continue to speak it to their kids and generationally carry and protect this language forever, which is still very important because Hawaiian is still classified as a critically endangered language by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. All right, let's move to another Indigenous language. Let's look at Irish. So we've got 1 unit featuring 10 chapters with multiple lessons within each. It is a member of the Celtic language family. It can be accessed from the Mango Languages homepage or by logging into the resource and searching there itself. And since 2013, the House of Horchata's Commission, through the translation department, has been responsible for periodic updates. They essentially review this every 7 years and make updates accordingly. And I will mention who they are in just a minute. But next, we're going to look at some conversational goals that you can hope to achieve while working in Irish. Things like express gratitude, greet people, ask for directions, identify important places and facilities, understand directions as they are given to you, and how to ride a taxi and pay the fare. All right, so as a member of the Celtic language family and a language that had been smothered by colonialism for years, Irish is currently the national and first language of the Republic of Ireland. And it is maintained by the House of Horchatas, which I just mentioned briefly a minute ago. And it was established in 2003. And essentially what it is, it's the commission within their legislative government that is responsible for maintaining their language. And why is that? Why do they have an entire commission just for this? It's because Ireland was at risk of losing its Irish language due to colonialism. So after the Republic of Ireland became a free state in 1922, the government put in a huge initiative to save and revitalize the language. But how did they do that? Well, they did that by focusing heavily on teaching materials, which were then produced in all 3 dialects. So Connacht, Munster, and Ulster. And then last but not least, regarding Irish, I do want to mention that we have a very fun St. Patrick's Day specialty course. So some things that you can hope to achieve while working in the course are becoming familiar with Irish names, greet people, order drinks and meals, and say goodbye. This is a really fun course. It could be great to highlight as we head into St. Patrick's Day next year. There's all sorts of things you could do with this, but it's a really fun course to pull out when that time comes. All right, the last Indigenous course that I want to touch on is our Potawatomi language course. It is a Central Algonquin language. It's 1 unit featuring 8 chapters. It can be accessed from the Mango Languages homepage, or you can search for the language by logging into the resource itself. And currently, federally recognized tribes in both Michigan and Oklahoma are actively working to revive the language. Next, we have some conversational goals that we can hope to achieve while working in the Potawatomi course. Things like ask about clan and close family, greet someone and end a conversation, ask where and when questions, say where you went or will go, and talk about locations in town. So here at Mango, we are really fortunate that we actually work directly with a local Michigan Potawatomi tribe. It's the Band of Pagoans, and we work with them in building out the language course. And because we have this very close relationship with them, I was able to reach out and ask them for a statement on what the identity of their language means to them, and why it's important for Indigenous languages to live on. So now I want to share this quote that we have, as I think that it just speaks to the overall importance of Indigenous and endangered languages and why we really wanted to highlight these courses today. So we have a quote here from Jim Thunder Sr. He is a member of the Band of Pagoans, the Potawatomi tribe here in Michigan. Now that I have been able to share some of the Indigenous courses that we have here at Mango, I'm going to hand it over to Sabrina, and she is going to talk about the endangered language courses that we have as well. Over to you, Sabrina.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Malika. So in addition to the specialty courses and the Indigenous language courses that Cruz and Malika have just told us about, Mango Languages also offers a few endangered language courses. So at this time, the two endangered language courses that we offer are Chaldean Aramaic and Yiddish. But before we talk a little bit more about these two courses in particular, I would like to touch on what it actually means for a language to be endangered. So just like an endangered species of plants or animals, an endangered language is a language that's on the brink of extinction. It's currently estimated that there are around 7,000 different languages currently spoken worldwide. But of those 7,000 languages, it's estimated that as many as half of them could be extinct by the end of this century. There are some estimates that even have that number a little bit higher, closer to 90% of the languages that will be lost. So what does it mean when a language is endangered? So a language is typically considered to be endangered when parents are no longer teaching it to their children and when it's no longer being actively used in everyday life. The language becomes at risk of dying as its speakers die out and or shift to speaking different languages. A language is considered to be dead when there are no longer any living native speakers of the language around. And then once it gets to the point that there are no remaining speakers of the language at all, that's when it becomes considered extinct. So what happens when a language reaches that point? What happens when a language dies? The effects could be culturally devastating. In an article posted in the National Geographic News back in 2009, it was described that each language is like a key that can unlock local knowledge about medicinal secrets, ecological wisdom, weather and climate patterns, spiritual attitudes, and artistic and mythological histories. So you can imagine how the loss of this kind of knowledge could be devastating to the specific community or group of people that speak the language, but you can also see how it can truly be a loss for everyone around the world, for all of mankind to learn these specific weather patterns, for example, or religious things or traditions, things that are only spoken in this language. If we lose it, we lose all of that knowledge too. But the good news is, Malika told us about a few of them. There are many different projects that are aimed at preserving and revitalizing these endangered and dying languages. And with Mango's core purpose being to enrich lives with language and culture, we've created these courses to help do our part. And to help make sure they're able to reach as many people as possible, as Malika mentioned, our Indigenous and endangered language courses are offered for free to the public, regardless of whether or not they are associated with a library or an institution that has a current Mango subscription. We want it to be quick and easy to access these courses so that as many people can learn them, so that we can really make sure that these languages continue to live on. Okay, so a little bit about the two endangered language courses that we currently offer. So we'll start with Chaldean Aramaic. It's pretty much all in the name. This is a form of Aramaic, which is a Semitic language that is spoken by Chaldeans, who are a Catholic ethnic group originating primarily from Iraq. So today, Chaldean Aramaic is mainly spoken in the areas of present-day Iran and Iraq, as well as within the Chaldean diaspora. So Metro Detroit, which is where Mango Languages is located, has the world's largest population outside of Iraq, with an estimated 160,000 people living here. So we were actually able to partner with the Chaldean American Chamber of Commerce and the Chaldean Community Foundation here in Detroit, Michigan, to create this course to help them with preserving their language and passing it on to future generations, with hopes of increasing the number of speakers and continuing its longevity. We also currently have a Yiddish course. So Yiddish is a German-derived language historically spoken by Ashkenazi Jews. There is a common misconception that Yiddish is the same as Hebrew, but this is definitely not the case. While Yiddish is written using the Hebrew alphabet and does incorporate some Hebrew words, Yiddish is actually more closely related to German and a few different Slavic languages than it is to Hebrew. It is estimated that before World War II, there were almost 11 million speakers of Yiddish. However, today it's estimated that that number is closer to just around 600,000. So in doing our part to help ensure that these languages are as widely spoken as possible, we of course want to get the word out about them. So we have a ton of great promotional materials available to help make your community aware of these courses. So as Cruz mentioned, in the Mango Market, we have a ton of different social media aspects. We have different bookmarks and flyers. We have different PDFs that have a list of all of the languages that we offer, as well as a list of just the specialty courses, and then another list that highlights all of the endangered and indigenous language courses that you can use to help spread awareness about these to your community. We also have this wonderful calendar of world and language holidays that's in there to help inspire ways to promote these courses. So as you can see here, we've got different dates, the events that are happening on those dates, as well as a language course that we recommend using to promote that. So just to highlight a couple examples, as Cruz mentioned, International Talk Like a Pirate Day is coming up on Sunday, September 19th. And this is a really fun way to introduce Mango specialty courses to your patrons. Monday, October 11th is Indigenous Peoples Day here in the US. And this would be a really great opportunity to promote our Cherokee and or our Potawatomi courses. When Hanukkah begins on Sunday, November 28th, it would be a great time to promote both our Hebrew and our Yiddish courses. So again, this calendar here that we're seeing, as well as the language list, our social media assets, and all of our promotional materials can be found in the Mango Market. For those of you who might not be familiar with the Mango Market, you can easily access it by first logging into the Mango admin portal and then clicking on the Promote tab. So you can go in there, download these materials, and share them with your communities. But as your dedicated account managers here at Mango, we are always available and happy to chat with you all on an individual basis about ways that we can further help you promote these courses or any of our other courses, or just to support you in general. So on this slide here, you will find all of our contact information. So we have our names listed, our email addresses, phone numbers, as well as the specific territories that we all work with. So you can easily find your dedicated account manager. We always love to hear from you all. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime if you have any questions, if you could use any support, or if you just want to chat about anything that's going on in your community. So that pretty much does bring us to the end of today's webinar. We want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon/evening, depending on where you're joining from. And we hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.